probably pop up on the thing. Wait for it to probably pop up on the thing. Wait for it to... Oh, here we go.
Hey, we're live.
Hey, we're live.
Didn't expect that to actually work. I did end up looping back the audio, which wasn't great.
Now we just gotta work out how the fuck to get a viewer count. Or you can see all that shit going with the stream key.
You see it on the Twitch page.
Oh, 13. Do you want to do the intro or shall I?
Well, we'll wait until it's actually like the start time to do the intro.
It's like we got a countdown timer.
Yeah. We've got an imaginary countdown timer, which is people's clocks. This is like the pre-show. It's not the actual show.
Yeah, it's not your best content.
Alright, look guys, welcome to our pre-drinks before the pre-show, before the show. This is a chance for you to grab a beer, make sure it's a Tui's, fuck VB, and 4X, Queensland can't spell beer, and you know, maybe a Jack and Coke, and chill back while we wait for people to join in.
I don't think New South Wales is in a position to talk shit right now, to be honest.
Mate, look, I could probably fill a 2-hour show just with that alone. Let's try to keep this to Eve.
So how about them spaceships?
Don't worry, we've got
I think the biggest loser right now is my hangar that is full of Boltecs that will never be lost at this point.
Luke, you forgot to change the title. It's still Trash Talk Tuesday.
It's Trash Talks Tuesday. Nice.
Working with professionals.
yeah.
I trust in the technology, Luke.
I trust the technology, I don't trust us. When I muted the stream, I could hear it, so.
You'd think it would be like setting all this up, but no, we just drag and drop shit.
Look, if
Yeah, I'm not sure.
if an OnlyFans girl can figure it out to make bank, so can you, Luke, I believe.
Donations will be going out for a hot tub for Luke, so we can get a Luke hot tub stream.
I don't think I want to see any streams in Luke's hot tub, to be quite honest.
I saw the brisk foot picture make its round, I was like, alright, cool.
I mean, I did buy a swimming pool on the same day. Brisk released his photo.
Providence, mate.
Hello everyone, welcome to... This is basically at the moment just an AUTZ special Trash Talk Tuesday. So yep, that's what expectations are at.
and we have no idea what we're doing. But we are going to be stealing the Trash Talk Tuesday format. So if you want to come in and have your piece, join the New Eden Post Discord, go to Drag Me, drag you in, have a chat. No, I don't. Thanks, sweetheart. Love you too, darling.
You know, we are missing 2 people because one is still stuck in the tube.
And the other one's making coffee.
Stuck in a tube.
It's you.
It's British.
The train.
Lovely.
Anyway,
Hey, look, man, I'll let you run the show for this one. That way, if anything goes wrong, it's your fault.
Yeah, here.
Oh, look, it's going pretty good. Like all things considered. I mean, I know it's a bit of an ash in the mouth of us because we couldn't do it. I know that you guys keep going off and been like, oh, look, you're blaming the server, but I think we can all agree if we put all the trash talk aside that server stability would not allow us to have that massive super fight that we all fucking wanted. I mean, with the defense of 1DQ, it would literally have to happen with us either trying to knock down one of your jammers and sinoing in, like we did a couple of months ago with the Capitals, or we just have to yeet everything through the gate and fucking let Jesus take the wheel.
apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, good man.
Well, yeah. Look, you're not wrong. Server stability is a massive issue with these kinds of null-sec invasions. The problem, if you look back even towards the assault back on 3D when the Abzels and stuff were dropping, what we noticed from our side was you would occasionally get a Rorqual or two in with an Abzel or something like that, but we were able to basically scramble defenders, get on it and kill it, or knock the Abzel out without any kind of repercussions. There was a failure that I could see in Happy fleets not being able to synchronize their attack, and we saw it again this week. There was all of their fleets pushing in through the T5Z gate, and then maybe two fleets coming into the backfield that were pretty easily taken care of. So, in my mind, I think yes, the server is kind of to blame for not being able to push everything in, but I think also tactically you need to shoulder some of the responsibility for not coming up with a contingency plan or a way around that.
Oh,
I
look,
mean, it's
I fully agree with you there.
I mean, it's not like we haven't dropped asphalt. It's like I remember this one fight we had. I think it was in March or April, whatever. Like we had a couple of Pappy fleets. I think 4 in total. Goons had like 3 or whatever. Like we managed to smash through Fidakti, and we made you guys like dock. And we were able to anchor like 5, 6 asphalts at once.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, I guess it was always going to end up with this kind of situation. I don't know. And I think you guys were relying way too heavily that our morale would break and then we'd kind of evacuate ourselves, in a Scrabble, which obviously didn't come to pass.
So I know this, don't kick me out of Taffy, guys. I was reading the Imperium News, an article yesterday, I think from Sierra Luciel. I'm probably butchering that name. Titled "Silver Linings for Pappy, Considerations for Goons," and I was reading through that, and he's actually made some really good points on both sides. The fact that you guys were able to defend very well and have the numbers, and the fact that you guys have got the benefit of just being one big family essentially, whereas Pappy was built of many families with many egos. So you guys were, able to be a cohesive unit. And Villies said the same thing on Trash Talk Tuesday, that you guys were just, you ping once and you fill a fleet. We've got to ping in so many different discords to try to fill fleets. It takes time, and by the time we're ready, you guys are already set up.
Yeah, it's true. Like, and I'll preface it just with a bit of an introduction as well, because I think we skipped that. So, I'm Hammy Ham. I'm from Delta Squad in Goonwaf, and I'm a pretty old timer Goon Fleet player. I joined in 2006. I've been leaving for periods at a time and coming back whenever there's a ping, I haul a Goondor, and I came back for this incursion. Something what you mentioned that I'll note is, we're not just one cohesive group, or we weren't always one big cohesive group. Back when I started 2006, 2007, pretty much you were only a goon if you were in Goon Fleet, and everyone else was kind of a member corp. Goon Swarm itself just managed to evolve over time since about 2017 onwards, when the Imperium came up. We basically developed our culture and kind of brought everyone else into us and made others into goons, and that's how we succeeded in what you're talking about.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about the intros. Hey, I'm Kale. I'm the AUTZ mill lead for Test Alliance. I've been playing since 2012, and I was actually the first alliance I joined was in the CFC back then. Convicted. So I remember those days. Yeah. Like, even though we were a part of the Clusterfuck Coalition, because we weren't in the Goon Swarm Alliance, we were our own alliance. Yeah, there was a little bit of I'm not going to say contention, but it was definitely like you were not goons, you were just your CFC. So yeah, I agree with you. Back then it wasn't as cohesive as you guys are now. I think Faulty helped bridge that. Can you guys hear Luke?
No, they can't hear you, Luke.
God damn it, Luke.
Successfully left me as the only goon on stream, Luke. Well done.
He's playing all along.
Sorry if you got OBS muted or something.
Cracks forming.
It's probably that. It's probably just a source error. Anyway, yeah, you're right. So I guess there's a lot of people that I see saying, "Oh, Eve is a game. Why do you guys like get so into it?" But realistically, what makes alliances and corporations and groups effective in Eve is, your community, your culture, your tribalism. And I think that's where at least we succeed in here. With Delta Squad, at least, because we're mostly made up of old goons coming back to the game. Our leaders constantly, has his multiple children that he's taking care of in the middle of big fleet ops, running Sax Fleet and things like that. We're different than we were 10, 15 years ago when we were young goons in Goon Swarm. And kind of bringing a culture into it where we don't care about losing or winning, no not believing, no not posting, treating ships like ammo. It's a very important environment to bring your pilots into. So when, things get tough, they don't get hit with the big morale hit that you would expect other alliances to.
It's interesting you mentioned no not posting, because for a long time, from what I remember, goons were told to avoid Reddit like the plague, and they seem to have taken it over recently. Like, what's that all about? What caused that change to happen?
So Reddit Swarm, as you know, we offer Plex for posting as a service. So enterprising young goons who wish to build up their karma on Reddit and build up their in-game income can post and receive Plex in return.
You gonna introduce
Reddit
yourself,
swarm
Carmen?
confirmed.
Oh, I didn't realize we are doing introductions. Hi, I'm Carmen. I'm an FC in test.
And a member of command too. Don't forget your recent demotion.
Oh yeah, that's been a barrel of fun, that has.
Okay.
Why is there a story there?
It's just like anything, right? Like, get fucking more space work, the more E promotions you get. It's just how it works.
Yeah, guess trying to prevent your Eve career from becoming an actual job is the hard part.
Oh, dude, it's way past that point.
So, who else needs to do an introduction at the moment? I'll be Luke, if that helps.
Yeah, it'd be Luke. It's quite
Have we
fun.
had Tommy K give his introduction already? Tommy W even?
I mean, yeah, I guess hi. I'm a Skirm FC for test. I've been trying to steal Kilt's time zone for the past 8 months. Quite successfully actually. Yeah.
You don't eat enough Vegemite to steal my time zone, mate.
Vegemite is bad. Like Vegemite and Marmite is a horrible spreading. I don't know why you eat it.
It's about cutting it right with butter. You can't just Nutella that shit. You gotta
No,
layer on.
yeah,
You gotta
exactly.
layer it on right.
Crow Tree is still coming to join us. He's just on his way home. Delays in the UK transport system.
He's stuck in a tube.
Luke, if that's the case, you need to restart Discord in admin mode. Yeah, restart Discord in administration mode.
So, guys, we've just got a bit of a communication issue with Luke. He's unable to speak in OBS and on here at the same time. But Luke Toir is one of our AU Time Zone FCs with the Imperium. He, and along with Cryo, who's our coord, who can't be here tonight, unfortunately, have been running all of the operations kind of around downtime. And we've been doing quite a lot of work, particularly in the last week, just cranking out structure shoots and hacks and things like that. So, welcome, Luke. I hope you get your mind fixed soon.
Yes, so do I. Yeah, well, you got to give us a bit of slack, guys. This is like the first time we've streamed. Redline's been and Rain have been absolutely fantastic in trying to help us organize this in the 2 days we decided to do it. The only problem is we are having a little bit of issues, and because Rain and Redline are in the US, they're currently asleep. So we are way in over our heads. Yeah.
We'll just be quiet for one moment while Luke restarts his stream.
It's all fine, you know? It's just teething issues. It's like
Yeah.
what happens when you drop iHubs and Delve. It doesn't quite go as you plan sometimes.
Understatement.
I did know someone once that actually put like pasta on pizza on a date. That was pretty weird.
Hey, we're back. Luke, how you doing?
Does it work? It works! I think it works. Oh, hell yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, we
It
can hear you.
works.
well done.
I'm looking a bit loud. Is that a good volume, guys? Let me know.
Apparently, you're a bit quiet if you're able to turn it up.
You're a bit quiet. You're on full volume.
I'm just going off what I'm reading in the Discord, which you should join so you can come and chat with us.
I'm real proud of you for fixing this, Luke. I knew you could do it.
Oh, thanks for the encouragement.
It's alright, we can just fail our way upwards.
I mean, you guys have been doing that since the conception of Goon's form, so
Yeah, I mean, isn't that just how you become a coord in Goons?
What is how you become a coording goons?
you fail upwards.
I think that's the saying, yeah.
If you don't use F2, you're going to be using F9. It's for your IT buddies.
That's,
What is this
that's another
F9
thing we
joke
could.
about? I have no idea what this F9 thing is.
So there were headliner leaks on Reddit of where he was going off at Teltac, and when he found out that Teltac was an IT guy and not an FC or anything, he called him an F9 monkey, because apparently F9 is what you use to consolidate code in Excel or something.
It was like summing up a row in Excel, and someone said,
Yeah.
"Headliner, that's something a paper pusher would know. Are you sure you're not a paper pusher?" And
I remember when that
to that,
happened. That was funny as fuck.
to that he replied something like, "To defeat your enemy, you have to first understand them." And it's like, man, the dude really has something against Excel.
So is there a reason that Headliner gets so aggressively loud during fleets like that, or?
Don't know what you mean.
Yeah, dude's a kitten.
Always
I've
got
honestly
let
like
him turn down.
I was really surprised actually, because like before I interacted with Headliner very much, like you hear that he's like really abrasive, like douchebag, but I have not personally seen like any of that in the time that I've been working along with him.
Yeah, I think that's just FCing, right? It's, you're kitten herding
Thanks for
for
the sub,
several
Grim.
hours, and then suddenly someone does something dumb that you've warned them against for the nth time, and you just lose it.
Well, yeah,
Um,
but also like this Reddit thread that came up recently, like it's all like 5-second sound bites, right? Like if you follow any FC around, I'm sure you'll be able to get some clips of them like fucking speaking out of turn.
I know I get passive aggressive when a friendly dictator bubbles my fleet. It happens.
Or when you have 2 dictators in your fleet.
Just 2 dictators.
Two
True
fucking
meme legend.
dictators.
So I'm not even going to try to pronounce that or butcher it. Has got a question in the Twitch chat, which was, I'd like to ask the test FCs on why your leadership was so hesitant to commit on all fronts with it and attack us daily. Instead, you took break after break until you lost the numerical advantage. So I'm going to leave that one to Carmen.
I mean, short version is we did, and it didn't work. That's why we stopped.
What part of it would you say wasn't working, or how did you feel that it wasn't working?
I think really just getting enough people to go in for follow-up timers for the Asbels and things.
Yeah, I've got to give it to the Goons. The fact you guys would form up 3 hours in advance of those Asbels was like, yeah, unless we form up 4 hours, end up with 4 hours of fighting, and then hopefully enough at the end to defend it.
That was fucking mental, like seeing goon pings like 5 hours. What, to be fair, in this case,
It
3
wasn't
hours.
5
before the
hours.
Asbels. Yeah, 3
Yeah.
hours, 3 hours. Like before the timer and just, chilling.
Yeah, I think
mean,
I think it's where the kind of goon survival instinct kicks in.
That's
It's
like
where
an old-time goon thing as well, right? Like that's what goons used to do like 10 years ago.
Yeah, we're not here to fuck spiders.
I remember I heard some story from Dave about how Dave pre-pinged some timer and then PGO pinged it like 30 minutes earlier, and then it was 15 and it got down to like changing the pre-ping timer by 1 minute. At some point you just gotta say, fuck it, we'll let them go ahead.
I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah, that's probably the worst part of that is like form up brinkmanship, where like the other guy pings earlier than you, so then you want to form earlier, so then they form earlier, and then you form earlier, and then all your guys are there like 5 hours early, and everyone's like, "This is shit."
Well, when you like change it that much, you're gonna like burn out people, so you gotta like weigh up burning out people versus getting an advantage by being there first. Both by pinging them like repeatedly about it and also by making them wait around longer for the fight.
yeah, it's definitely not something you can do day after day.
I mean, would you say that like goons are more or less impervious to like fatigue or whatever when it comes to these things?
Well, the thing is, they had more of an incentive to have to be there for every fleet, right? Like it's their home that's on the line.
I think it's more down to fatigue management. In terms of like how our fleets are going, we run in-fleet entertainment with Mine One streams. I've been on a few years ago now, the PR Dash Hell Camp of Bob when we last took Delve. We had someone running the World War Z audio book for 9 hours straight in stream whilst we held camp the system. It's about keeping people active, giving them things to do. It's also about removing the anxiety of people losing ships in fleet and things like that. Treating ships like ammo. It's all part of running a fleet and keeping it happy and active and alert.
Yeah, I think Mind One it's pretty underrated in terms of like the war effort. He's unironically like a super effective battle bard. I remember in M2 he was just jamming the entire time and people were fine with like poop socking for hours on end.
I love Mind One stream. I usually, even if I'm in a fleet shooting you guys, I've usually got him on my second screen. Just the music's great. At the end of the fleet, you can ask Thomas. He was a little bit annoyed with it. I was like, hey guys, jump into Mind One stream. Tell him Kale said hello. He's an amazing guy, and the donations he got on his birthday stream, in my opinion, were well deserved. He's a fucking top bloke.
Yeah, nice little Mind One plug there.
Yeah. Don't forget to send all ISK Mind One for the to K Legal's Eye. We got another question in the chat, which is a real question for both sides. Looking back, what things would you do different during the war, knowing what you know now?
I mean, I think that you'd probably be the most appropriate person to answer that, Kale.
Look, hindsight's 2020. So at the time, stuff that we did seemed like the right idea at the time. I can't really have too much of. I literally worked my way up the ladder during that war. So there was a lot of things where I didn't have any knowledge or view or understanding of. So I think maybe Carmen might be better because Thomas was the same. We worked our way up the ranks. We joined the same time. We got promotions at the same time.
Carmen?
Well, I think for Kale personally, like one thing that he definitely could have done a better job of during this war is like getting some sleep. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously like a bunch of stuff that we could have done differently. I don't know how much I want to get into that, but like my broad take on it is like, there's a load of stuff that Goons did wrong and a lot of mistakes they made. There was a lot of mistakes we made, and just kind of shook out how it did in the end. Yeah, certainly like after we kind of got into Delve with like the NPC Delve keepstars and stuff, we possibly should have gone a bit more ham for 1DQ rather than focusing on the keepstars. But
I mean,
yeah,
we also had like
there's not really too many things you can point to. There's not too many things you can point to and just be like, oh yeah, that's the one thing was like a massive mistake. Obviously, like M2 goes without saying. Like mistakes were made there. Just is what it is. Like there wasn't a whole load of obvious points where you're just like, oh my god, that one thing was a really dumb idea. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I think the general kind of consensus from both sides is that there could have been a bit more of a bum rushy approach towards 1DQ. To have like a kind of less kind of impossible approach at it.
What personally annoys me is like we had structures in the 1EQ constellation. I mean, we had a fully fitted Aspel, for example, in T. We also had one in NTAC 8. We nearly got one in 1EQ, if I remember correctly.
There was a fort in 1DQ at one point, I remember.
That was a meme that US time zone drops just for the fucking bounce of it, though. Like, that wasn't a serious thing.
Pro God being pro God. Let's do this. We can do it.
I think it might have been like Pitts and Bob and those guys actually, but yeah, like it wasn't planned.
Yeah,
then, like,
that sounds more likely.
I just woke up one morning and there's like a fort anchoring in 1DQ, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's happening then.
Yeah, what was really frustrating about this war is like one person drops one thing, and then we pre-ping to defend it and make sure you guys don't get into the constellation, and you guys ping to make sure that we don't like go out and ref your structures if you don't form. So it's like people just sit there for like 4 hours watching the game, and then people have to like say, oh yeah, they're cowards for not coming into us, look how much they pre-pinged and whatever. It's like just the kind of thing that both sides do to kind of keep the morale up, but I guess we don't have to do that anymore, which is good.
I think one thing we can appreciate. Go on, Kel.
It's like that YouTube video with the dude in the dock and the other one on the island, how they just screaming "fuck you" at each other across the lake.
Oh, okay, there's the Australian. in it.
What?
That's Australian.
I've not seen that.
You have not. Fuck. Hang on, let me.
Can,
find
can we
it.
get some
Maybe
Twitch
seen
chat?
I think we can appreciate is that like how important AU time zone has become recently, especially in this war. Because I mean, from what I've heard, AU time zone has been a bit neglected, but in this war, there's been at least a certain emphasis on it, especially
I'm
with
pretty-
fraternity on our side.
I'm pretty sure the past 2 wars that we fought were mainly in AU time zone, buddy.
I think this war was mainly about M2, like the importance of
I've put the
downtime
link
there.
in the chat.
The importance of downtime in M2, and also, yeah, just because Pandemic Horde set their iHub timers to AUTZ, led to a lot of Ferox brawls over that.
You guys at one
My
point
favorite.
set your iHub timers, a few of them in AUTZ, and I had to fucking, for some reason, contend with Asher. That was a load of fun for a new FC at the time.
Who's Asher?
Yeah, who's Asher?
24th best FC in the Imperium. Haven't you heard of him?
Don't touch his protein bars.
I don't think I've seen him like ever ping a fleet, so no, not really.
Yeah, Asher has the tendency of always flying in an eagle, so he always dies before a fight even starts.
It was actually Asher, like one of the ones I really remember. I'm pretty sure it was one Smeb. He doubled my Ferox, my Jackdaw numbers, but he was so concentrated on trying to whelp my fleet that all I had to do was ping around the system, and he kept chasing me, and all our toasters won the event.
I think AU time zone's going to be functionally. Sorry, I'm just reading chat. Someone saying AU time zone is functionally useless for the war. I think we can all agree it wasn't with all the downtime.
That's
mods that we had
Cryo.
to run.
Cryo said that.
Yeah, of
Cryo.
course, I can read it. Yeah, but particularly comparing Eve now to Eve, 5-10 years ago, we've now got a considerable Chinese time zone alliances holding space now. So AU time zones can be more and more busy, particularly post downtime. So I'm expecting it's going to be more and more business for everyone involved here.
Yeah, rebuilding logistical lines, rebuilding like construction industry chains and all that. Yeah.
Someone says something about what was stupid about and cringy from the Pappy side was arrogantly dehumanizing the enemy by going on about nonsense like containment. I think the reason that they had the containment narrative was because it pissed off so many goons so much. Like, the amount of, like, are we contained jokes got so excessive. Like, it's so obvious to see that people hated like anything about containment being mentioned.
With it.
Like, I genuinely had thought that the whole like containment memes actually came from goons to start with, and then people on the Pappy side were just kind of like trying to like own it a bit. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's how I witnessed it happen.
I mean, we had all these pings with secure, contain, protect thing from forgot what his name was.
Mist.
Oh, it's Mist, wasn't
Mist.
it? He's a funny guy, Mist is.
I hated fighting Mist. It's like I'd form like caracals to get his cormorants to piss off, and then he'd just walk around for 2 hours bouncing in safes, and it's just like, oh, why can't you just fucking go home?
I mean, isn't that like just the whole war for you guys? Just sitting there thinking, God, please, can you guys go home?
It was more like, when you accidentally leave a window open and a fly gets in the house before you can shut it, and you got to chase like the little fly around room to room.
That is a very
And
good
then,
analogy.
Before you know it, the fly's like ransacked your entire house, and you're like locked in the bathroom, just pleading with it to leave.
Oh, it's more like it dies on the windowsill.
Regardless, I think we can agree that yeah, the kind of resulting strategy from that of like camping the gate for several hours instead of letting them in. Now that's gone, I think everyone could be happy.
Oh yeah.
I'll miss Trasher Fleet. That's the great loss that we're experiencing now.
We'll just
worry,
move the trashers to where the action is.
I'm still coming. Like, there are Pharaoh holes, like I'm still planning on bringing Thrashers and Feroxes down there to fight you guys, because the AUTZ, at least from Pappy side, used to absolutely love the Thrasher and Ferox fights. I'm not going to stop that. That is
The
content.
Ferox fights were great.
You don't understand what the Thrashers are for, though. They're like built to like just jump in once, kill one thing, and then get reshipped.
Do you want me to
No.
preface this one, Luke?
We were doing the same
Yeah,
thing.
have it go. No.
I mean, towards the end of the war, I started doing like every time you blue ball us, I tell my fleet to reship into towers, and then we go into 1D queue and shoot a bunch of stuff. I remember like goons putting up 2 harpy fleets to try catch me, and I just flew around killing them. That was fun.
People are dumb. People warp in their Macarial to kill towers because they're just towers, and then they get alpha, and it's like, oh, why the fuck did you have to do that? You guys should have. I reckon one mistake on your guys' side was to not use like the kind of cheap warpable doctrines more. Like
You mean like Ferox's?
No, like Tech 1 fit Thrashers that cost like 3 million esque. Like just continually jump them into 1DQ and clap shit. That's what we did.
It's like some around meme shit though, right? Like it's not like a real thing anyone's gonna care too much about.
I think we like managed to killed quite a lot with Trashers, and I think particularly Pappy and T5Z, until they pinged a big fleet to counter it, they didn't realize like we'd be running up to 10 billion Iskin kills in an hour just warping around in Trashers. But
no, on the good nights we'd kill like 5 billion in like one fleet and lose like 100 Trashers.
Isn't the reason you were doing stuff like Trashers and stuff in T5Z because if you took a real fleet into T5Z, they just got fucking clapped like 9 times out.
Not at all. So Trashers is something we picked up from Elitist Ops. Its concept is just a Trasher costs 3.2 million. We get between 10 and 12.5 million SRP for a Trasher. So instantly members make money flying them. So, sold. The other part of it is it helps indoctrinate our pilots and train them that loss is fine. Loss for a purpose is absolutely fine, and not to be anxious. Well, it's important. You don't want your pilots to be anxious about losing ships, and I think that's kind of part of the problem that we used to see with Pappy is they'd be afraid to engage where a significant sacrifice of a fleet would be required to achieve an objective. And that 3-month pause between the first attack in 3D and then your final push was kind of,
Hammy, buddy. This is serious slander Saturday. I'm like trying my best to stir up some spicy drama, and you're giving me like a calm, logical response.
Yeah. But
you need to get in the spirit of the show, buddy.
How dare you? How dare you have a calm, logical response?
So Trashers were one part. They help our pilots understand how to tackle, because goons can't tackle, let's be honest. 2, how to kill, how to accept your loss and enjoy playing the game, which is the biggest part of it. That's the culture war we've already won. And the other part of it is that we're insanely ISK effective in the ISK war. We'd be hitting 80-90% efficiency, no problem. You can jump a Trasher in, kill one Hecate, and you've already paid for your fleet 3 times over.
Oh yeah, we did it. Like I was running them, not as much as I would have liked, but we'd run into 1DQ, and it was just like everyone. There's a Tengu, burn at it. We'd all die, but we'd take out like a 1.2 bill Tengu.
I mean, the thing is, like goons would, like they wouldn't take anything else than Thrashers. I mean, I guess Thrashers are fun, but they're only a morale thing. Like any real fleet, apart from like the last few days that goons wanted to take out, got instantly killed.
Yeah, what happened to the Feroxes? That was great.
Yeah,
You used to bring Ferox fleets out.
Oh, you see, we stopped doing the Ferox fleets because we exported the bad FC who was doing it back to Horde.
You had plenty of FCs that were doing that. Like you had
Altari is in Horde now? I didn't know that.
Hey, I'm Altari Phoenix. I will put the Feroxes.
Altarari's a great guy.
I remember having this one goon Cord thinking he can FC a fleet, and then just got everyone destroyed.
Wait, and which one was that?
I forgot the name.
I remember.
A long time ago.
The one thing that I will say about the Thrasher fleets and like Saturday Night Swarm fleets and that kind of thing, like if you guys genuinely have like a working, consistent method of like teaching new players to genuinely enjoy playing the game, I'm pretty sure there's a quite high-paying job at CCP waiting for you.
Well, I mean, that's what they were trying to get faction warfare to be, after all. It's the same kind of concept: cheap destroyers and having a ready ready, enemy available to fight with them.
Like, I'm not saying like thrashers aren't fun. I mean, T1 destroyers are generally very fun, be it Corms or Tal Wars or thrashers. But I mean, it's just that it has no strategic meaning to it.
So, well, okay, you're saying it has no strategic meaning. We're on the defense, and we were still the ones attacking.
Well, the strategic kind of usefulness of it is keeping people playing the game, because in that kind of time, people, like, neither side was pinging anything. Like, we weren't pinging anything, Pappy wasn't pinging anything, so Aritzia, the leader of Delta Squad, was like, fuck it, why is nobody doing anything? We're just gonna, like, keep slamming thrashers into T5 to keep people entertained. And
it worked.
kind of maintain numbers, I guess. So you
Yeah.
don't, like, have like a 50% decrease in numbers in like a week of doing absolutely nothing.
And like Cammy said, it's also about indoctrinating our people into dying and dying often.
Who the fuck let Aaron in here?
The point of the fleet is to indoctrinate our people into being okay with dying. Someone clip that.
Alright, so we got
Indoctrination
two
into dying
questions.
is the Delta way. Go, okay.
This one's from Malthus saying, what's the reaction to the leaks talking about bad blood within Pappy? What are Goon's plans going forward? Will there be a retaliation push?
Answer to the second question, yes. First question, what bad blood exactly? Is it like the headliner stuff?
I think it's the Reddit leaks. Look, as a lot of those were taken out of context, they were like one paragraph essentially out of, like a half-hour conversation.
Yeah, some of those leaks were like pretty intentionally misleading, I would say.
I just find it funny that the guy had to apologize for being yelled at by headliner.
The second question is, may I ask why Pappy are still using expensive Bazzies instead of Ospreys in main fleets? It's just sanely inefficient.
It depends on the doctrine. Like, you take Feroxes versus Munins, they kind of go alright against each other, but Feroxes will win just because they're cheaper. They'll come out way on top on the ISK efficiency. So, cheaper Logi can like lead to you winning a fight in terms of the ISK war, because you lost less expensive ships, not necessarily you lost less ships, you lost the less expensive ones.
I mean, T2 Logi like Bassies are better as well, so they can cause you to win a fight if you do things differently as well.
It's also based on
Sprays are like paper thin.
Yeah.
So it's also based on the scale of fight, right? Like, if you've got a fleet of 250 Munins shooting at you, a Basilisk and Osprey tend to last about as long as each other.
Yeah, it all comes down to how many numbers and how much alpha power you've got.
It tends into some point, like, just your ships being a meat shield for the rest of your fleet. So you probably want to make kind of your meat as cheap as possible, if that makes sense.
Well, we've got an amazing Logi commander, Lucari, who's currently in the process of like trying to write up a proposal for Logi changes that seem pretty good. So we'll see how they go in the future.
What are these Logi changes that are pretty good?
Kill mails, probably.
Getting Logi on kill mails.
Oh, it's
CCP,
more
please.
like ship types that are more accessible to new players who want to get into Logi, instead of being like, no, you need to have Logistics 5 to be able to fly this, and so doctrines for new bros and that kind of thing.
You have to have Logistics 5 to fly
Well,
Logi?
4 or 5, if you cap chaining
What?
Ospreys and Bazzies.
That's mad.
Well, if you haven't got your logistics skill high enough, then you end up with your cap chain, you end up giving more than you're receiving. So you can break a chain if the people don't have the correct skills.
Or you just put everyone into Ospreys like we do.
Yeah, well, do you guys cap chain your Ospreys?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, why would you not capture Ospreys?
Yeah, well,
You cap
it
chain
still works
Because
the
they
same way.
die so often.
Yeah, but if you're not cap chaining it, you may as well take scythes, because the scythe will outperform it. Whereas with cap chain, Osprey will beat a scythe any day.
Yeah,
I
it's
think a
like
lot of people do cap chain. I mean, during big fights and small.
Oh, this is a spicy question in the chat. So, looking after fighting this war, what are some changes you would like to see CCP make in the game? I've certainly got some thoughts on that one.
In the words of ProGod, Eve 2, when?
Bring back the hand of God for FCs, so they can point at something and immediately dies with drones.
Yeah. buff drone doctrines, buff Ishtars, bring them back.
Bring Dominix's back. I want Dominix's.
Like, honestly, the number one
Have
change
you heard
that
of
I
the
would like to
legend of
see
Zungan?
is see the Ragnarok actually changed so that the model is vertical instead of sideways. That'd be like the number one thing I would like to see in the game.
Yeah, can you
That's actually-
imagine that bumping vertically when it lands in a Keepstar?
That's actually like probably going to be the platform that I'm going to base my CSM campaign run on next year, as I'm going to advocate for the rag to be vertical.
Oh, you go for CSM too, are you, Come?
I don't know, we'll see.
CSM
honestly-
17 Kale.
If I get a vertical rag out of it, I'll do it.
We should make all ships vertical for Minotaur.
Talking about vertical rags, I still need to walt my nag. I've insured it like 2 or 3 times. It's gone back in uninsured now.
On a more serious, like, actual response to that question, though, like, I think most people who are FCs kind of generally can see a lot of the problems with the game, especially with regard to fighting on structures with carriers and stuff. It's extremely strong defensive position to be able to use carriers on a fort. I think that's been proven
Yeah.
pretty well in this war, like especially with the Sino-Jammers as well. Like, one of those 3 things kind of needs to change at some point, I think, just because that defensive like trifecta is just like probably too strong for the game to be healthy.
One of the things I'd like to see implemented, and this is actually one of the things that my CSM campaign next year is going to be run on, is an overhaul of the watch list system to be more like, your drones. How you can have a shit ton of drones and you can just folder them. Give us more watch lists and allow us to put them in folders that flash when something's getting shot. That way you can have a folder of links, a folder of tackle, a folder of FCs.
Can you imagine when you get bombed, the watch list?
Yeah, but Logi are pretty good in knowing that, FCs, other Logi, and links take priority in that case. It's the fleet members who are like, oh my god, damage! Shield, 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 shield!
Yeah, but that's like also something that differentiates an experienced logistics pilot and a non-experienced one. So in effect, you'd be just taking, part of the game away from the game just for convenience.
Well, no, it's. I'm not saying like allow you to put 256 people in your watch list, but 15 isn't really a lot when you think about how many people you need to add to your watch list in like full 256 fleets. Like add it to like 2025 and allow them to be able to be put under categories. I think would be amazing.
I think, this is probably quite a spicy suggestion, but like something that actually might be very healthy for the game is to reduce the size of people in fleet to like 128 or something.
Shut your whore mouth.
Surely we'll just end up going back to having more fleets then.
I'll just be like,
Yeah, you would.
we have 6 Ferox fleets now.
Yeah.
It changes a lot of the like fleet combat mechanics, right? Like you can't as easily like have huge alpha strike in your fleet, so it kind of makes other fleet comps actually more viable than they are currently.
Yeah, but what alliance doesn't coordinate with an external voice, program
Yeah,
to
like in
coordinate targets?
In Heavy Tighter, there's nothing stopping you from saying, shoot this guy.
We'll just be going back to the
Overcoms.
days before we had a watch list where you'd have to spell out the name and you'd have to sort A to Z and find it.
God damn it, Hammy. You and your bit of it experiences.
Hammy, do you remember Eve's internal VoIP system?
Oh god. Don't remind me.
What? Was that a thing?
Eve used to have its own in-game voice system.
It was terrible.
I oh god. I wish Eve still had a local chat system because I would have the best time.
I remember using the voice chat in Eve. I had to like run a fleet using it once, and it was totally fine. I was really surprised it actually worked, like in tie-dye.
Congratulations, you are a 1 in a million.
Eve proximity chat would be the best thing ever. It would be the best thing ever on Guard D.
Yeah,
He's
it's
Going
like
back,
no.
walking in
He's
stations.
no.
like Eve but Rust, just screaming at people as you kill them.
You're sitting there doing a sight as like someone warps between two gates that are in line with your sight, and just suddenly hear like you get rickrolled as they fly through.
Can you imagine what like proximity voice chat would be like in like a 2,000 person tie-dye fight?
I need to
Do you
link
guys-
that "fuck you" video
Do you
again.
guys know the do you guys know the game Hold Fast? Like this Napoleon like shooter or whatever? Also has proximity. Just imagine that, the amount of spurg that would happen in Eve.
I just want to see the Doppler effect with proximity.
Imagine the mic feedback.
Mouth has got a question. Honestly, who had the best propaganda memes during the war? And
Good.
Discord's covering it. And what was your favorite meme? Goons was great. I think. How do you pronounce his name? Seriously?
Yeah, I was about to say, seriously, stuff is
The
like,
first of his name.
probably the best
he's-
propaganda out there.
Those songs are amazing. I listen to them and I'm on Pappy. Like they were fucking fantastic.
We didn't crash the server, just pops into my head every once in a while.
Like one thing I gotta say, like Goon propaganda is very good, and I think that's what won them the war, honestly. Like all the meta shows, all the like Reddit posts, I think that kept Goon morale up high.
You got to admit though, the good shit was counterpointed by the absolute just brigading trash that you came from your side as well. I mean, I'm not saying we're innocent in it either, but you've got to admit, like Reddit, the Eve thread in Reddit is just an absolute cesspool at the moment because of it.
With the meta show as well, like honestly, how many times can you watch the meta show before someone screaming "Eat my ass, Pappy" over and over? It just kind of washes over you.
I got banned, so I can't watch it anymore.
It's the Matani brackets Vince McMahon. It's literally just a wrestling show. Like testosterone fueled hate out of you. It's not like kind of meant to be harmful or anything. It's just a show.
I mean, I can see Brisk is putting on an act. Like Brisk is great. You know, you watch him in the meta show, then you watch him again in Merc's stream, then you watch him again in like any of the other streams that he joins, and he's got the personas down pat. But like Matani is just the Matani, no matter what show he's on.
Honestly,
Brisk is honestly the best part of that show.
Yeah, spicy take. I think Brisk is much better than Matani.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're not in Goons, you're not supposed to like Matani.
Even when I was in the CFC, Matani was always a little bit like, I'm kind of worried that guy's got to try to bite me.
Yeah, I was actually in Bastion like a long time ago, and even then I was kind of like, this guy seems a little bit, you know.
Surely it's just the caricature of the show, right?
I hope that it is that.
Yeah.
He just gets high as balls and
I'll be honest,
trash
like
talks
I've
people.
known Matani since what, 2007? It's like a pretty normal guy. So I think it's just in the eye of the viewer of how you're going to interpret what he's saying, and also, as Luke said, it depends who you are. Like as a goon, you can read between the lines of what he's saying, when he's being serious, when he isn't.
So we've got another question. So both sides to the FCs, if you had to force the other side to use a bad doctrine off your own choice, what would you make them use?
Drakes.
Yeah.
Drakes.
Abaddons. Not
It's funny you say that
fit
though,
with
because
MJDs.
the Abaddons actually works pretty well. Like if you look at how quickly they inflict stuff in that fight, they're actually pretty effective.
Except for when they all died.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what those MJDs are about. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Tengu.
AB Abaddons, let's go.
Right into 3D gate.
Can we talk about the AB Tengus just quickly? With Shattered Armor in charge of them for some reason.
I was on comms on that one. That wasn't very fun.
Yeah, it's just you just hear and go, hey, they scanned us down while we're refitting. We're dead.
I think what blows my mind is, and I'm just double checking something on Reddit now, when that doctrine leaked, and 2 weeks ago we said, yeah, that's a bad doctrine. You're gonna get scanned down and killed before you can do anything. Like you'll get scanned down on the Nestor, and then it happened. The video of it is amazing, but I don't know why you hinged on having a fleet of Tengus just to deal with backfield Sino-jammers during that whole fight. Like, I was hoping for a bit more depth.
What I don't get is, like, on a more kind of micro scale, Shattered Armor gets his fleet bubbled, and then he continues to anchor up and continues getting bubbled. He doesn't even try to, like, kind of spread out. It's just so confusing to me.
Yeah, someone in chat pointed out something important. We should use AB Munins instead of the AB Abaddons.
That's worked well, like, on multiple occasions, hasn't it?
Ooh, yeah, I think if Cryo was here, he'd love to talk about taking on the AB Mutant fleet in 3D.
He's in chat.
Didn't you guys lose an entire Boltec fleet and faxes to AB Munins in like 39p?
Oh yeah, I remember that one. But I remember also in 1DQ when you brought them in with like Brother Bob or something, they all died.
Well, yeah, it's AB Munins, you know, like they're gonna die at some point.
I don't remember the specific circumstances like that led to us losing the Boltec fleet, but Boltecs are like meant to kind of kill stuff that goes fast.
Alright, there's another question. So both sides, best and worst FCs in each group. Fuck, marry, kill for your leadership.
That's getting a bit personal, I think.
Yeah, just a bit.
I mean, the fuck, marry, kills is not too bad, but yeah, the best and worst FCs. I mean, I'm happy to say that I'm the best FC.
Yeah, I'm also the best FC.
Come on, Luke. Who are you gonna fuck?
Thomas, how long has it been since you got a fleet bombed? Like, when was the last one?
Hey, that was not how many, like 6 months ago.
That was his one and only. He learned from it. Like, that's the important takeaway.
It's better than getting Nightmares bombed, okay? Like, it's just 90 Serbs. Only 90 Serbs.
I will have you know that I did not lose a single nightmare to bombs in that fleet, even though there was like 70 bombers bombing us. Pretty sure that's just because tie-dye meant the bombers didn't work, but, you know, I'm going to take that one.
I remember that. You're like, we're fucked. What? We got bombed. Warp out. We are. It's like for what was like 40 minutes, you're watching those bombs just like tick towards you.
Man, I've got like a video recording of that, and like the comms of the command channel are pretty fucking funny.
What? How did the NC next just die in 3 Tech D?
Beacon.
Look, yeah, it's a mystery at this point. It sounds like
That's
he
a
jumped
happy
to
push.
jumped to our Sino bait beacon in 3D.
We have multiple.
Oh no, an idiot died. Anyway, next question in the chat is yeah, Nguyen Postcare to comment on the Knicks. Look, even though we're using Redline's as platform to stream from, thank you very much, Redline. If you end up watching this, none of us here are actually from NC.
You should get people from NC Dot.
Is that you in Twitch chat? Thomas Wilk is the best FC I've flown with. Every fleet was
No, that's
cool.
not me. That's not me.
No, that's you. Stop yanking your own chain there, Thomas.
No, it's not me.
I think
It's
I know
just the
who I'd
truth, though.
marry. I'd probably marry Slabback. He's so
My
chill.
dude.
Yeah. You know, you
My
just have a lovely
dude.
time.
Really, every time I try to talk to him in local, Ed is just fuck you. I'm like, oh no, fuck you.
I think my favorite, like in FC, I think it's definitely Alterari because of all the Ferox feeds.
Would you fuck or marry him though?
If we're
Probably
talking
not, no.
your side, look, I'd have to marry Brisk. Dude's like, you know, he's got that gentleman charm. He's got an amazing ship collection and an awesome gun in his office.
He's like the human version of a golden retriever. He just gives off heavy golden retriever vibes for some reason. I don't know why.
That is something that makes absolutely no sense. But then when you look at Bristic, you're like, yeah, I can kind of see that.
Fuck would have to be Matani, just because I reckon it'd be like a rodeo. You know, you'd strap yourself in and go for the ride.
Get to his upstairs room.
I think you just get high by contact. just the secondary breathing through his mouth.
But now that we're talking about FCs, I was gonna ask you guys. I remember now. Thomas, Kale, Carmen, what is your opinion on Ichinumi Sakaya as a previous Goon FC and now currently a Pandemic Horde FC?
I've chatted to him a bit on comms when he's running fleets. He seems like a nice man.
I mean, like all of us, he's got a bit to learn. He makes mistakes. It happens to the best of us.
I mean, he is a very nice guy. Just needs to learn to FC a bit more, in my opinion. But I think that goes for everyone.
I mean, we got to give him props that while a lot of us were running around doing the background work at the moment for everything that's going on, he was taking fleets daily out to do stuff. So, you know,
Yeah,
props on him for that.
I kind of
think
miss
it's
the
honestly-
full-size Itchy fleets coming into 3D. It's kind of a little bit sad that it kind of stopped.
Yeah, you knew you'd get like a nice green killboard to top off the night.
I think it's actually quite disappointing the amount of people from Goons that have just been shitting on Itchy after he swapped, you know, given the fact that he used to be a Goon FC, like as soon as he left, everyone's like giving him loads of shit. Like if it was that bad, why aren't you giving him shit when he's in Goons?
I think it's a two-stage thing. It was the way he left. Like, there's better ways to leave an organization. You can look at, say, Elitist Ops, Israd, who left Goons in the Ward to join Snuffed Out. There's no hard feelings. They told us they weren't happy. They wanted to move on. Fine. I think the way he left was a bit saddening. If Cry was here, he might be able to comment a bit further. But it was quite clear angry resentment for the rest of the group, particularly after I think he'd had his hack keys taken away from him after basically misusing a fleet or not being able to use it correctly.
He was kind of infamous for running mutant fleets into a wall and whelping. So he was disallowed from using mutants and had a bit of a titch over that.
Look, if that was an issue on our side of the fence, like I would have been told to not use hacks anymore.
I mean,
Goodbye, all of the Diva FCs.
I mean, I've been told once how to use hacks anymore, but it only lasted for like a day.
Who told you that?
Farm stink.
That says it all.
I've seen
It's
Itchy.
because
I've seen Itchy air quote FCing hacks, but it seems like he's not allowed to actually take like a proper fight in them. Is that true?
I genuinely don't know what the answer to that is. I mean, hordes do horde things, you know.
the other part of this equation is, as a senior poster in Reddit Swarm, it's our role to tilt Itchy to the extreme whilst he's in the middle of running fleets, because it's quite an effective tactic.
Have you guys seen that man's like comment history on Reddit? It's like honestly bizarre.
Is that a thing people actually do? Like go and like look up individual people's like posting history?
Well,
You
he
see like
responds,
one
so-
post and it's like, wow, is everyone like this? You click on his profile, it's like, wow, every response really is like this. And then he's just kind of developed like a group resentment, I guess. So yeah,
If that's the thing people actually do, like looking at people's comment history, I guess I need to stop posting all these fucking anime subreddits.
pretty much.
Rule 43 or whatever it is.
We had a guy who was posting like the no fap November stuff, and people like,
No, not November.
Yeah.
On his Eve Reddit account.
Yep.
That's
There's
a
question
recipe
to
for
you,
disaster.
So a question to Thomas: if no one put a spoke in your wheels, would you make more awesome fleets like in the past?
I don't know if that's what's a spoke in your wheel.
If no one was reining you in?
Is someone reining him in?
Someone
No,
reining
I'm
me in.
aware of. I mean, look, I said it before, in case you weren't here, Ronxy, that even after we move, there are still fairer holes to delve, and I know that Luke and Cryo and the rest of the AU guys are down to fuck. So it's not going to stop me from taking Thrashers and Feroxes down there to fight. And I'm pretty sure Thomas will be right there with me, or vice versa.
Cry has
Imagine running
You know-
intentional fun fleets in a Hellwar, dude. Like, you be careful with that. You're gonna turn into goons.
Wait, me and Luke did one fun fleet once. We like organized a Caracol fight. That was quite fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
remember
you guys should ping hard because you're not getting enough numbers, but then you came in anyway. So
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad about that, but whatever.
No, we came out as neutral though. I killed just as many as you did mine.
Yeah, it's the frigate logic.
We planned a Caracal fleet like months ago with Alterari, and he's like, "Hey, I can't come out. You're gonna have to come in at 3 tac D, but don't shoot the jammers, otherwise I have to form hacks." We're like, "All right, cool." So we took a Caracal fleet and we started shooting a fort. Apparently, Mr. V rocks up, forms Munins to take on our Caracal fleet, shooting a fucking Fortizar, and I'm like, "Dude, what the hell?" He was like, "Look, man, it wasn't me. V's taken over." We're like, "All right." So we jump back into ETAC V, and we're like, "Do you know what? Fuck it, let's fight." We ended up like whelping the fleet, but coming out ISK on top because we just swarmed the units.
Fun story.
I'm not gonna name any names here.
Here you go,
but
Thomas.
yeah, I'm not gonna name any names here. But here's a little leak. I got once contacted by someone, that someone else is gonna run a fleet to attack this certain target, and I was supposed to absolutely destroy his fleet because apparently he wanted to have a lesson learned or whatever, to lose stuff. And then some high tier FC takes in, I think it was John Hartley or
Charlie.
it was someone. Takes over the fleet and I couldn't like kill the enemy FC. It was quite sad.
I mean, that's something FCs have got to learn. I think we can all agree is for the FCs here anyway that losses are not the end. It's something to learn from and hate the feeling of losing. So you do everything in your power not to lose again.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go on the tangent with the head shrine, and then like the one thing we should learn is that Eagles are really bad FC ships.
I'm pretty sure you've said
they are good FC ships. What are you talking about?
They're not.
I mean,
Depends what you're using them in. You don't use them with like Feroxes or something, or like
So-
Hack.
Or Serbs, Asher.
Yes,
I mean,
with
the other day we
Serbs.
had Asher.
How
we
else
had
are you gonna
Serbs
go
Asher.
fast enough? Like, what are you gonna get to overdrive Serb speed with, apart from an Eagle?
I mean,
The
like,
problem
it
is we
actually
had
makes
Asher
sense.
the other day.
because It makes sense to use an Eagle to FC subs with, right? But like the whole point is that you need to not be in range to get headshotted, which is a thing that happened quite a lot with a lot of those Serb fleets.
Yeah, the problem with Asher is like the other day, like he was trying to ref a Keepstar in low sec, and he made it so that his Serbs had hands on them, to trick our Armenian fleet to brawl with them. But he was F-ing from an Eagle. So like there you also have to ask the question, okay, if you have hams, if you want to brawl, why are you in an Eagle? And
Why
why
are
do
you
you
I
bring
losing
Serbs?
like 20 kilometers of our units?
I felt bad watching that fight, like on roll. Like, goddamn, that was like a fucking hell dunk.
I saw Asher reship into an Omen, so he could FC from that.
Yeah, I remember. We're like, are we gonna shoot Asher? He's like, nah, fuck the Omen, we're killing Serbs.
What did that battle report come out as in terms of like is?
I think we
It was-
were 6 to 12 ahead.
That's
No,
not
the
too
one
bad
in-
for like a hack dunk.
The one in Lila that was the fleet that you're talking about, like when you add up all of the ships that died, like on the next 20 systems trying to go home, ended up being like 4 or 5 bill to like 20 or something.
But yeah, in that time we took all of the M2 constellation except for M2. So
I mean, we didn't really care about it. Otherwise, we would have done something about it.
Congratulations, you popped some uncontested eye hubs. Good job.
would you have contested it though? Like if we were there in like Jackdaws or
No.
something.
It's floodplain Delph, man.
Okay, good to know.
yeah, you meant to do it in like a week like us, not 13 months though.
It's weird how like one day I go from like cautiously popping bubbles in T5 with a corn fleet to just like structure bashing free in T5 with an eagle fleet with no
I mean, yeah,
repercussions whatsoever.
That is how it goes, man. we went from they'll never get into period basis to just freely structure bashing in like Querius and period basis as well.
Yeah, I guess it cuts both ways.
We went from
you're
they'll
gonna get in
never enter
trouble.
a keep star in NPC Delve to Delve as a floodplain.
Like, I remember Querius, like, it was some hack brawl, and like during that, Siberian Squad took like 10 systems from Brave in Querius, and then there was so much smug about it, and then like the next day we took all the systems back in one swoop.
I think Siberian Squad is
Because it
possibly
was
like
it was
their
all of
story-
Pappy. It was all
their
of
story is
Pappy
like
versus
Wave
Delta
Leader's
Squad and Sib Squad.
Aquarius was literally Delta Squad was trying to fuck around with Brave. Like there was no main fleet support. That was just silly Eve playing to have fun.
I think my favorite narrative of the whole war has been the story of Siberian Squad, because it's just like it's like a Greek tragedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really was. It's like we're joining goons. Praise the Imperium. Wait, why aren't the Imperium coming to save us? Oh, why are we losing our space? And then they just disappeared.
I'm never gonna forget the time Siberian Squad pre-pinged like 2 times and gonna fleet 1 guy.
Sib Squad's still doing main fleet stuff, so they haven't disappeared. Like,
Mountain.
yeah,
They've definitely
they're
disappeared
around.
from relevancy.
No,
Because like we were trying to get them to go to Fountain at like the start of the war, and then they decided they were going to join the Imperium, and then they moved to Querius, and then they got kicked out of Querius and went to Fountain, which is where we were trying to get them to go
So,
anyway.
well,
And then they got kicked out of Fountain and went to Impasse, and then they got kicked out of Impasse and went back to Fountain again. And then they got kicked out of Fountain again, and now they're in like 1DQ with the rest of the goons.
they're on the winning side now, so I guess they made the right call.
I don't think their
I mean-
members feel that way.
I mean, the problem was when Siberian Squad were in impasse, Red Alliance was always poaching from them, and that's one of the reasons why they left it.
Okay.
I mean, every alliance has those, has their up and downs. Like, Init got kicked out of Fountain for like the 3rd time recently, and then went on to like kill all of
Live in NPC
Catch.
stations.
They burned all of like Catch and Impasse, and then came back to 1DQ and like beat the shit out of some Pappy fleets.
I mean, burning uncontested structures in regions that we don't live in is not something I would call like a big achievement.
All right. Well, while we're on the topic of regions you don't live in, we'll go back to, let's say, a week or 2 ago when Test announced that they were going to have 60 days required for completion. And then we had this push on Monday, and then the call was, okay, we're going to evacuate in 2 weeks. Now the evacuation's happening right now. Like, do you feel that that's a failure in forward planning, a failure in contingency, or a failure in leadership?
There's definitely some failure to plan for things that were unforeseen that we couldn't have expected were going to happen. I mean, the changes that CCP made with like the TTT and a few other things, like pretty much came out of the blue. We had no idea what was going to happen. I don't want to blame everything on that completely. It's not like it's an easy scapegoat, right? Like we definitely made some other mistakes too, but that could have happened at any point during the whole war, and it's like a big income source for the coalition.
I think the problem is there was a lot of chaos after the initial announcement. And this is like my opinion. I think that just snowballed into, alright, because everyone's moving out. We have to do this as quickly as possible.
It just kind of always happens that way, really.
So you're saying losing the TTT was like a big factor in that, in your withdrawal?
Well, I mean, it's like $1 trillion a month income source for the coalition. It's a big deal.
How are you planning on, I guess, paying back the debts that have been incurred during this war now, now that you're moving out to Outer Ring?
With money.
Value.
I mean, the question is
And
how
lots of
are
it.
Goons gonna
I mean,
how Goons gonna repay their line members?
They already have been repaid. Like our war bonds matured not too long ago, and they've been repaying the entire time they were made with the interest.
yeah. So ours too. Our Dynabox
Hold
has
up.
been.
Are you saying that Imperium has repaid all of their war bonds? Is that what you're saying?
No, of course they haven't repaid it all.
So you're saying they've paid interest on the war bonds, and that's it? They've not repaid any of the initial capital investments.
So with our war bonds, and I won't really get into it too deeply, but we have specific dates of when it's going to pay out, and the Alliance has the option to pay it out in full earlier than expected. So right now, most people are making a pretty big bank on the war bonds within Goons who invested.
So, yeah, you haven't really answered the question there. You said there's an option for them to be paid out early. Have a lot
absolutely.
of them been paid out early?
None of them being paid out early yet. The
So
war is
So
still
Goons have
going.
repaid our war bonds.
So you haven't repaid any of the war bonds then, is what you're saying?
We've paid more risk back than I believe Test has. You don't get me
Right.
confused. I'm not like payouts haven't stopped, and I guess our income from TTT isn't a deciding factor in the payouts. We've got a bit better financial and industrial depth than Test has, I believe. That's why we haven't been affected by this whatsoever, and also why we've been able to pay out huge SRP very quickly the entire war, even when contracted to 5 or 7 systems.
I mean, that's great, and I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure that's really good for your members, but it does sound very much like you're smugging about the fact you've been able to pay interest on the loans, but you're trying to imply that you've paid back a lot of the loans, but you've actually not paid back any of the loans.
Well, personally,
That's what it sounds like.
don't get me confused. I'm not like a director for Goonswarm or anything. I'm a key Delta shit poster for sure. You'd have to contact a Goon Directorate to talk about something like that, but I have full confidence that the Imperium is going to repay that ISK because we have the ability to, and we also have the respect and trust from our membership in our alliance leadership to go through with that. Because
Cool,
generally,
I'll be watching the news on that one.
our alliance leadership doesn't lie to our membership like yours.
I mean, let's just say that Goons have to re-infrastructure all of Delve if they're taking it back. Maybe possibly a different region with outlying debt to their line members. I mean, honestly, I don't see it as a very good thing financially for Goons currently.
Hey,
Well,
watch
we
this
have your
space.
ESS reserve banks though.
Our ESS reserve banks.
$1 bill, y'all.
That's actually a good point. The ESS is like, I was really excited about the whole ESS thing, but it seems like a bit of a wet fish that's actually come out.
That was a solid meme about the fake Villy ping. I'm going to be nationalizing all the reserve banks for paying back the war bonds.
It's like it was such a bad 1-2. Like they didn't even get the
It
color.
was so believable.
Right.
It was so believable, even if it was obviously fake.
Oh, we've got Cryo joining in, Dragon.
Oh fuck!
Oh
Here we go.
no. Cryo.
He's
Hello.
seen the drama. He wants to get involved.
Once in this place.
You wish to introduce yourself, Cryo?
Sup, Cry here, and I'm the propaganda director of Goonswarm Federation, apparently the head of Reddit Swarm, and a Alliance level co-ord. Not an FC.
What's
Asterisk.
What?
Welcome to the show, Cryo.
What's the current topic? We shit talking about who's failing to pay back the war bonds and who isn't?
Yeah, something about war bonds and reserve banks and whatnot.
Oh yeah, thanks for filling up all our reserve banks in Delve and Quirius.
No problem. We thought you'd need the money trying to rebuild all your shit.
Yeah, we're paying back to keep cores.
Well, you're giving us a lot of free cores at the moment for rebuilding, so thanks.
Yeah, there's a distinct lack of cores in the place you're moving to, by the way. So that's gonna be real
honestly,
funny.
I think we got some cores. I don't know how many. It wasn't that many out of the keep stars that we killed in Delve. So yeah, we're probably losing some extra cores beyond that, but it's not a lot.
I mean, it's going to be real hard for us to I think we definitely didn't core all of them, but I'd say we cored maybe 10 or so outside of one.
Yeah, I know we got a few cores out of it, but it wasn't that many. It certainly wasn't all of them. The majority of them weren't cored.
I think one got stolen.
I'm going to clarify on our war bond stuff, even though I'm not in finance. TTT was never factored into how we're going to pay it back.
That's fair.
Because for us, we don't, it's a non-factor for us. It's we don't rely on it as a source of income. It's a nice to have. I think that it covers SRP nicely and makes that nice if we feel like it. But even then, majority of our finance comes from other sources.
Covers our trash or SRP, but that's about it.
Yeah. We're definitely trying to push make the SRP guys hate us.
Trash your SRP for buy a 3 million ISK trasher, lose it and get 10 million in SRP. Lose 5 of them.
while the TTT was definitely a mate. Fuck, I'm starting to sound like Probon. No, actually, Tony Abbott. Fuck, kill me now. While the TTT was a big contributor to the income, like it wasn't our only source of income. Like our dudes are still getting paid out for the Dino bucks. You got to think we got less than a quarter, I think, of the war bonds that you guys ended up selling. So our payback is a lot less than you guys need to. So we're still fine on that front. It's not spin or anything, you know. It's like they are being paid. The money's there.
I think the biggest dick buy-in to the war bonds was the guys that run our high set ganking sig opening up the thread by going, "We're buying 1 trillion ISK worth of war bonds, thanks."
Jesus. The most I've ever had in my wallet is 7 billion. It's like I see like Merc the other day opens his wallet. He's got like 800 billion in it. I'm like, I mean, I think of like 400-500 of that was the Keepstar drive. But still, I'm like, Jesus, that is a lot of bisque.
You
There are a
gotta
lot
remember
of
as well, Monk's
That's a
been
lot of
playing the game
frappers.
for a long fucking time.
Like,
there are a lot of rich and patriotic goons. So.
money's not hard to find in this game if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, I just suck at it.
Like, I've somehow ended up, I started this war with a super, and now I've ended it with a Titan and 3 supers. Like, it's not hard to find things and get assets. Like, I started with 1 carrier, 1 super, and now I've got that and like another 5 carriers and 6 dreads. It's just like that, you just accumulate it.
Yeah, I started with a carrier. I got a carrier, 3 dreads, and a fax, and
How much
My caps got
fuel
killed.
is that going to cost taking those caps back to the drone regions?
Minimum of 120,000, assuming you have a jump drive conservation 4. As if you take the Keepstar route with like a carrier, it's like 120,000 tops, so like 150 mil a pop at Jita prices.
Yeah, 150
But
mil.
looking at T5Z prices for isotopes right now, it's a bit more than that.
I think all your guys are buying them and relisting them heaps bloody higher.
Yeah.
You mean
No,
that place
sorry,
that
not-
everyone has moved out of?
Sorry, not sorry.
We
Making bank over there right now.
we have
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
ISK to buy out Jeter and fuel as well. So
I think that was like someone said I just brought out Jita or like every single isotope I can get my hands on. Relisted. It's like, thank you for your service, patriotic goon.
So we do have a question in chat a little while ago. I didn't bring it up because we were talking about the bonds and everything, which is how would you change the SOV system? I hear tons of people complaining about the SOV and structure system currently in the game, but how
I
would you
hate fuzzy stuff.
how would you people take? Let me finish the question.
No,
How would you
another
people
question.
take or defend what role? Do you know? I'm just gonna post the fucking thing.
Post the question, because I'm gone on a rant. I've just finished 2 days of Entosis with Luke, and I ended the fucking fleet
Right, it's
and
posted.
said, "Thank you for helping us on this fleet, AUTZ. I just want to let you know that when I inevitably die and go to hell, I am going to become like Doom Guy and find CCP Fozzie. Because I hate Fozzie Sov that fucking much. Like, I'm going to haunt him when I die. Like, when it's the
Fuzzy's
same.
hot shit.
Like, I'm going to become a malicious ghost and like haunt every single person that has a genetic relation to him.
Yeah.
For the next 200 years. Like,
It's just
Fozzie Sov is that
mind-numbingly
bad.
dumb to do.
It's a
It's
burnout
Fozzie
machine.
Sov.
We've gone through 4 directors of Arantosa Sig in this war, and I would not be surprised if you guys had a similar count. Like, it is just industrial cat herding. Even uncontested on an ADM3 fucking system, it takes an hour to flip it, of just sitting there mindlessly toasting nodes. It's not like, at least with the old subsystem, the previous one, you could just drop 100 supers on it and destroy it in like 5 seconds. Which has its own problems, but like this, it's just like this current system on now.
Yeah, I mean, at least you risk something to like kill it very quickly. It's not like
it's what happens when you have a subsystem designed by a dude whose an idea of peak gameplay is fucking around in low sec with afterburning Vagabond.
I think me and Thomas ended up doing a lot of those Sino fleets. I know I did a good 9-12 hour stint in Helm's Deep, flipping all those, and then another one like putting them down, working with Carmen to drop all the fucking iHubs down.
Don't you mean Helm Sheller?
Helm Shallow, yeah.
I despise going out T5 to kill some iHubs in Fountain. That was Really annoying. That was so mind-numbingly dumb to do.
I think
It got to the point where we're like, all right, guys, jump in fleet, and everyone jumps in fleet. You get like 150, 160 dudes. It's like, all right, jump in toasters, and suddenly the fleet drops by 30 people.
I think the other part of the problem is, and although I do like tie-dye, the effect of tie-dye on Fuzzy Solve is just killer. It's turning an hour-long hack into potentially 10 hours, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just lack of respect for player time.
Quern's
mean-
hardpoint undefeated.
On an attack point, I hate it. On a defender point, it's fucking great. Like, if you think about it, we would have gotten 1 DQ that one time that we got it down to like an hour left in the tie-dye fight if it counted
I don't
down
think there
to
was ever a proper Entosis on one.
That was
there
an-
was
No,
that
it
was
was
an
probably
anti-hit.
3D or anti-gate.
Is that where I lost my Nidhogger?
I don't think there was ever a proper Entosis attempt on 1DQ. I would remember.
Yeah, there was no fighting
No,
on
there
the queue.
wasn't.
Okay, that's my bad. I woke up to pings of get in capitals when jumping into the 1DQ, and I was half asleep.
Oh, was that the one where Super Fleet went haha and killed a bunch of supers in like 8 WA or something?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that was the fight in 8 WA over the Sino Jammers that you were talking about. We didn't lose any supers over that. I think we lost like 10, 15 carriers. We didn't lose any supers.
I got bumped by a horde warp in and fucking got destroyed because I couldn't refit off anything.
Like, yeah, the issue with the Sol system, which is, to be honest with you, quite similar to some other problems with things that CCP have added in the last few years, you know, namely citadels. Like, they have been given like more advantage to the defenders, but they've done it in a way where it is like it's just like more grinding all the time.
Well,
So, you know, ADM6 IHubs,
Yeah.
the fact that it takes an hour to hack even just one of the nodes, and you have to do like, you know, 8 to 10 nodes, even on like an uncontested timer. It's fucking ridiculous.
No, it doesn't
It's
take.
kind
It
of
doesn't
that,
take an hour.
You had a problem, right, where the current Sol system like doesn't take citadels into account. If I've got my timelines right, like the Sol system happened then citadels. Is that right in terms of
Yeah,
timelines?
that is right.
Yep. So you basically had a Sol system designed where you didn't have citadels. So now you like here's citadels and it doesn't interact well with the previous mechanics, which is ccp.txt in a nutshell. If we're looking at the history of the game, and there's been no rebalancing since then, and citadels. And even now are still massively unbalanced. Like we should not have 6 fucking keep stars in 1DQ. Yet we do.
I think it's misleading to say that the problem comes from the interaction of those two systems. I think that both citadels and the current solve mechanics on their own in isolation like are bad and need to be changed.
It's a good thing in chat too, the capital system spam.
Oh yeah, the fact you guys like we've benefited from it as well, but like when you have 8 alliances, like 8 solid ones, and then all the other mismatch that you guys had, like all taking a capital system immediately, and then you just immediately got an ADM6 system. It's like from a opponent standpoint, that's fucking hard to deal with.
Hey, how else is Intrepid Crossing allowed to have space?
Jesus.
Dude, they were like living in Fountain for a little while. It took the space up there.
Tell you what, this war was great for seeing like all these old names pop up. I was like, oh shit, Razor Alliance is still alive? It's like, is that fucking Kismet here I see over there in Bat Country? Bro.
Wafts and Wombat asks, is structure spam a problem, and if so, how would you fix it?
It needs to be a cap on the amount of keep stars in a constellation. And Fortizars and all that other shit.
Wouldn't that just
I
Yeah.
make
think there's a lot of ways, like no matter what change you make, really, or at least a lot of the changes that you could make to it, like you can kind of game the system a lot.
Yes.
Like it's gonna be quite difficult to come up with a change that actually like makes sense and works.
Well, there always will be a way to game it, right? But in the current system with Citadels, even with cores, it's like just Titan problem all over again, where Titans were initially balanced around how expensive they were, and now money is not a fucking problem, even with the rebalance of cost and all that sort of thing, right? Cost is not a balancing factor, and that's why you're just seeing like that's why we have. If I'm 1, 2, 3, I have to count them. That's how many we fucking got. 6 keep stars in like in the 1DQ constellation. There's a dozen keep stars, or fucking nearly that many. Like that shouldn't be a fucking thing.
I think having a limit on the keeps though isn't going to fix it, because that's the same issue we have with say Sino Jammers. It's whoever
Yeah.
gets there first and fills up the slots has it.
I mean, you could have it
Yeah.
per alliance.
Yeah, but then you're back to the same capital system issue that we were just talking
Yeah,
about.
we just have like we just let TNT we're just like TNT. You have all this system with a keep star, and then fucking Lawn, you have one keep star over here, and then fucking in it you can go here, and then we
Alright,
still
true,
have
yeah.
the constellation filled with keep stars.
So the thing here, right, is that like Citadel proliferation and Citadel spam wouldn't be a problem if Citadels were shit. Like if they were a lot weaker than they are now, it wouldn't really be that much of a problem.
Oh, bro,
So I
free
think maybe we're
reinforcement
trying to
timers
solve the
can
wrong
fuck
problem
off.
here.
I think a good way to make a lot of the people quit this game is to nerf Citadel, return to Space Coffin, and just make a ton of people biomass.
Oh no, like the genie's out of the bottle at this point. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. But it's a case of like there's a lot of fucking unbalanced shit going on with Citadels. Like tether is ridiculous, and I say this as someone that benefited a lot from tethering over the last year.
Tether's probably one of the most broken mechanics in the game, I think.
The fun
Tether's
part
Citadel
about
is a PDS.
PDS rules. So does even like using a carrier on Astro House is risk free, even though you can't dock because you can just like bomb yourself with the bomb launcher and then like leave because you kill all the fucking bubbles that are around you.
I remember having, I think it was one of our SCs in like a stupidly quick ship in T5Z with your thrashers, and I'd lock him up and start the DD, and he'd overheat his prop, burn into the center of your thrashers, and it'd hit him and hit everything, even though he was now outside of the lock range because it had already started spooling.
I think that got nerfed in the war. That doesn't really happen. That's like
Okay.
not once you're out of the 495 kilometer range. It's not meant to bounce.
Okay, I haven't done it in a while, so
Yeah, I think that's no longer a thing because we experiment a lot with that. It used to be a thing. Like you used to be able to bunny hop them out to stuff.
yeah, it was great.
But it's not anymore. Yeah, it's like it's such a. This is why I'm not a game developer, and why none of us are. But even then, like we can obviously see something's wrong.
I actually am a game developer. That's what I do for my real life job.
Uh,
Just throwing that out there.
well, actually, the most qualified one here to say that shit's fucked, yo.
Hey, I did interactive digital game design at uni.
Much like how
with
I'm
pictures.
the director of propaganda posting is because I am the worst poster of us all.
Can't confirm.
Yeah.
Propaganda.
Well, no, my actual day job's graphic design, but you know.
Anyway, another one of our topics that we're supposed to cover was Test going to Geminet with Pandemic Horde and the rest of PanFan.
No, Brave's
We're
going
not
to
going
Geminet.
We're not going to Geminet.
Brave's going to Geminet. Where's Test
Oh.
going? You're going to like
I've been lied to.
furthest
Outer
possible
Passage.
region
Outer
away from
Passage.
Delve.
Outer Passage is nice.
You sure?
Enough ice belts.
Inner
I mean,
Passage.
ice belts don't make up for like one of the fucking worst true six I've seen looking at a region.
Because Rang is so profitable right now, right?
It's not bad. It's not as good as it was.
You can't get like 170 mil ticks with the super anymore.
I mean,
What
I'm
kind of
actually kind of
idiot?
I'm looking forward to like the changes that CCP have been talking about with Rang. Basically, like they were saying about how having like capital size anomalies and stuff should be pretty interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. However, my current bugbear is we need to add NPC space to the drone regions for reasons I'm not going to go into today, but we should add it.
I
closest great
wonder
wildlands.
why.
No, I've actually been banging on about it for like 2 years now. Is that it's just like that region's so fucked. It's so like my big thing for 2 years has been every region needs like an NPC core or at least like a place you can reach out and touch from like with blobs. Because there's so many parts of like of drone regions, like in drone regions alone, that are just like fucking untouchable, without just like having to just chill in space. It's real weird.
We need to get Cryo's avatar up here and swap it out with Crow Tree because he hasn't appeared.
I wasn't planning to be on here, but my parents' cat's like not come in yet, so I'm going to bed.
It's alright, he's not much of a looker.
That's wild.
He's like, it kind of looks like Kale's kind of twin brother actually in game. It's kind of funny.
Oh god, I'm changing it right now.
My character's got the cool shades.
I'm changing it to a new suit tomorrow anyway. I'm gonna change the look up.
I'm the only one with the cool armor.
I don't
No,
think I've
that's
actually changed my character since I started playing the game. I just like hit random and left it.
Bro, Luke, you're wearing the fucking Villy Corp cosplay. That's the suit they all wore.
Oh no.
What is that?
Yeah, that's the armor that like one Royal Fleet Corp 07 mates wears.
I remember they named it Athenor. Just how old is Luke Tall?
I'm gonna spill it right now if anyone in First Royal Fleet Corp that's listening. This game is older than Luke is.
Wow.
I wasn't
is
sure if
he
they
the
were.
new faulty?
And they've still not managed to make it good.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was just like a really bad meme or they really didn't they really thought I was like 80 years old or something for some reason.
I remember meeting Faulty at EDU when he was like 16, just turning 17.
Are they confusing you with Moomin, Luke?
Fuck that anti-vaxxing boomer, man.
Moomin's a retired old gentleman who has nothing better to do all day than shitpost and local.
I
Who's this
actually
faulty
admire
guy?
Moomin quite a lot. Like, I cannot believe how often he's just spurging in local in T5Z. Like, just any
His
day, any
dedication.
time of day you log in, he is fucking there. Like, you can't
Look,
teach
when you-
that level of dedication.
Okay, so we're all blokes here, right? When you reach a certain age, when we're talking like 60 plus, you get you need to build a shed. Like you build a shed and you go and exist in the shed for like 5 or 6 hours a day, and you're gonna like fix a light switch for 6 months type of shit. For Moomin, the shed is his desk, and the fixing a light switch is posting, and I respect that.
In
As
like
a
aggressive
poster,
to
yeah,
the
he
enemy.
posts in local. That's his light switch.
I remember having an op in GE TAC,
I'll
like
be
in
right back.
catch, and then we have Moomin just coming into local and starting to spurg there.
And I respect it. I respect the energy.
He was in PSAC for ages. Like Delta Squad would just be doing their thing and Moomin would be kind of like going away at them in local as we were.
I think I've
Killing
seen
random
Moomin
shit.
in TAC before.
When we were
Mo-
first, like, in the first couple of months of the war, and we, like, spam dropped a shit ton of Athenors in test space, one of my suggestions was, can we make sure we get one online in DTAC-P so we can make it Zenuria's Spurg Palace? So that he can just, like, sit there and yell at people all day for, like,
Oh,
a
no.
week until
Oh,
it
no.
dies.
Please no.
That'd just be so funny, just, like, having, like, just the concept of someone sitting in a citadel in the hostile stage here, just shitting the place up. And you can't do shit about it until the Citadel dies.
What's our
You could just-
imminent PZ Athenor going to be called? Any ideas, Hemi, Cry?
What was the question?
What's the PZ Athenor going to be called when we
Oh,
replace the old one that got killed?
look.
Sad.
So I'll just backtrack here. So Brave's going to Geminet, right? Is
Oh,
that
yeah, they're-
correct? Are they leaving Legacy, or are they doing their own thing, or?
I think they're doing their own thing, but
Okay, I'm
okay, fact check.
I kind of respect that. Like, so Delta Squad fucked around with Brave quite a lot in Quirius, and I know they were thrown a bone early on in the war by Matani to maybe come with us because we won't make the offer again, and decided not to, which I think is a shame. Brave remind me a lot of how Goonfleet was in about 2006, 2007. And I do like the attitude of their pilots. I think we can all say that, like, Dunk's speech after the final push was one of the best leadership speeches I think I've heard in Eve, at least in a long time.
Yep.
So I'm really glad that they're going there. I'm definitely going to come after them, but that's
we'll
life.
come after them in thrashes.
And Tornado.
Tell Wars.
Like,
Yeah.
thank God that Kigali stood down, because from everything I've heard, he was just like a fucking anchor holding that alliance back. So maybe they'll actually start getting a bit more competent. It's like from the leaks that like we've read, it's like that poor fucking Norman guy.
Who even is Kigali? Like,
He was like how Test actual leader is Sapporo Jones. He just exists in the background and does not much. Kigali is like was like the perpetually AFK leader of Brave forever, and Dunk was seen as the actual leader.
Yeah. like the
So,
only
like,
context.
The whole
Yeah.
time that I've been in test and like working and coordinating with Legacy, I don't think I've seen Kigali type or appear even in Discord like once in the entire time.
So like Matani is like, to the outside, Matani looks like a figurehead. As someone who's a director in the alliance, like he does a fuck ton, but it's all delegation and people management. From my outside looking into Brave and from seeing all the leaks coming out, he's like a bad version. It's like Matani done the wrong way. Like he just sits there as this figurehead that does nothing. And now that he's gone, hopefully Dunk will actually be able to get some, like, actually breathe some life back into Brave, because it looks like it's been in a horrible place for a long time, farmed by PL for fucking ever, and then forced into this, like, ill-conceived war, moved to Quirius, moved back to Catch, moved back to Quirius, and now it's moving to Gemini. It's like, man, y'all just, like, you're getting carted around like an unwanted stepchild after a divorce.
I like
Brave
Dunk.
had
I love
such
his
a bad
videos.
time.
It's a
Yeah,
bad
talk-
metaphor.
talking
Like,
about
Brave had
the command structure. There's Brave, obviously. Dunk was supposed to be CEO long ago, but what's up with Sapporo Jones? Like, literally the only context I've heard about him is him being Reddit moderator.
Like Sapporo is a very background kind of guy. Like I think he deals with leadership stuff, and he deals like with a lot of admin work. But he isn't really like a popular figurehead. Whatever. He doesn't like go in front of the camera. That's more of a PGL Billy type of thing.
Yeah, like he jumps in fleets with, like, he'll fly on his ults in fleets with us down in like the DPS channel. And he talks on Discord and stuff. So he's active, but yeah, he's not like publicly active. It's like you said with Matani, with the executive admin role. He delegates most of it out and just does his thing. But he's actually active, unlike the other guy you're talking about.
I'll let you know I've had my fleet bubbled multiple times by the Matani this war, thank you. He even came mining with me on a roll call fleet.
He even takes out Noctis fleets.
And
Not just
leadership book drops, yeah.
You know,
I've
this
got a-
Yeah,
one-
what do you guys think
this
of
one
that?
time, right?
That
Can
was
I make sure you guys are around tomorrow, just before downtime? So like in 23 hours, I have a final delivery to help you guys evac.
Is it fuel?
more
You could use
Ferox.
it.
How
No,
many
I'm
s-
actually I'm
You'll
unironically bringing you guys evac supplies to help your stragglers get out. So like watch out for that.
How
So
many
it's not
how many
Dr.
spines
Yours
do you
as
see the
hell then.
badger?
So I've got a very expensive badger to deliver you some evac supplies. So please look forward to my final gift.
You've heard it here
Imagine,
first.
imagine us gifting your space back and you're trying to badger us on the way out. Come on, man.
If it
Hi-
isn't Fido's, I'm going to be disappointed.
Hi, thirsty, I'm dad.
Oh god. This is supposed to be a trash talk show, not like a fucking pun show.
I don't know, they're pretty trashy.
I just can't not do it, man. Like, you think of a fucking terrible joke, it's not fair to not share it.
Alright,
Yeah.
so next topic, the Regoon Questa. How long do you guys reckon it will take for us to take back all of the Delphi hubs? All of the Queers High hubs?
Another 48 hours to take back
Yeah.
Delph.
Yeah, it's
look,
not. It's not taking the space. Taking the space is going to be fast. It's re-establishing yourself in each of the systems and rebuilding your chains and getting your logistics set up to.
We're
so
already
easy
beating
for
off corps with a stick who want to drop stuff back into what their
Yeah.
old system was. Like we're getting like a request every hour saying, "Hey, can I drop stuff here?" And the answer is like, "Wait, like a hot fucking minute, boys." Like
And-
we already have Poco drama. You guys haven't left yet, and we already have Poco drama. That's what's
I
fucking going on
I
right now.
don't think we even finished killing the Pocos that started off there.
Yeah, we're straight up having like people like there is one cycle in Delve, and it is crab. I'm not sure you understand.
Yeah, but you've still got to organize because I think everything's got to be dropped under Goonwolf. Yeah.
So, yeah, but
Oh,
you
it
have
can
to
be, but then you can transfer it afterwards. It's not hard.
Yeah.
We've got what, an hour and 22 minutes till the last timer in Delve's cleared. It's not going to take very long.
No, there's still like some ARP ones.
Yeah, but still anchoring,
Nice.
getting fits, getting people moved, getting into the systems, all that, setting up jump bridges and everything.
The
Like getting your
hardest part is
infrastructure.
waiting 30 days for jump bridges to come back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just like a kind of game limitation. You gotta wait
Like, a
for
lot
the
of-
strat
A
index
lot
to
of
go up.
it, a lot of it will be done very quickly, like the iHubs and like small structures, and maybe even like forts and stuff, I guess. But
If
like,
anything,
yeah,
the
how long it
pace-
takes until you guys are actually finished retaking it is really dependent on how long it takes you to nut up and start shooting the keep stars, which I expect will probably be like tonight. But you know,
We've done a
there's
month.
still a bunch to do.
I
That's
mean,
my opinion.
I know when.
I'll be
Yes.
surprised if it takes a month.
No,
Our Siege
it's
Fort
gonna be
for YZ9 anchored today,
and SVM.
and SVM.
The
So-
YZ9 one was contested very funny. Like, it was contested by 20 bombers who got free fired on by Aritzia and Hurricanes. Like, we dropped it in USTZ Prime. And the most response we got out of anyone was, like, 25 bombers. I'm not sure what the FC was.
Are you supposed to still have Feroxes in T5? Or is that not a thing?
No, we
I mean-
we whelped them in the last Great Ferox brawl. In
No, we didn't whelp them. I wouldn't say whelp.
You headshot the guy FCing from a Macarial like an idiot. And then
He was
had a
FC.
nice fight.
That was
Oh
FC.
shit!
Yeah,
We just
that
shot
was
him so
FC.
shiny. It wasn't even intentional.
I was logged off at the time, and I just saw he was taking a Ferox fleet out, and then I looked at the battle report yesterday and went, "Why the fuck was he FCing from a Macarial?"
Like that
That
was
was
not
FC.
even a legit.
Yes,
That wasn't even a legit headshot. It was just ooh shiny.
and I just went, "Okay." And from the second fleet that turned up, like he told me, I was waiting for the Macarial kill mail to come in before I bridged in.
Yeah, and then what's he rocked up with the mutants, and I'm just everyone's like mutants are here, and I was like in comms, I'm like, look, fucking told you guys, we're
That was-
we're not leaving till one of us are dead, Valhalla awaits, shiny and chrome.
That was a dope ass like drop in. Like we jumped into system. I had immediately my probes out, warped directly on zero on the Ferox fleet, locked up 5 targets, and they all died like within 2 seconds before the enemy FC
Right.
even realized what happened. So without that mutant fleet, that Ferox fleet would have been wiped out clean.
Yeah, the FC for there doesn't FC very often.
Yeah, I know
look,
that's why I did
it
it.
was fun.
That is
Is it
the
Souther
that is
still?
the most whole comment.
I just got overwhelmed by 2-1 odds.
Is Sophos alright?
Correct.
My monitor made it out because I was doing the pings for Thomas, every single one of your tackle came straight for me. So I just burned them straight into the Fortizar and told the gunner to turn the PDS on.
Did anyone in Cloud Temple get tell you guys that we stole like an entire Fortizar worth of fighters and ammo? Like, because they fucked up the ACLs, by the way. Like, it's not much in the grand scheme of things, but it's very funny.
Some test corp gave gunning privileges to some Goonwolf people, so they hopped into the fort, looted all the fuel and ammo, and then got out with it.
I saw
That's
that they
hilarious.
took out
I got a funny
missile
story about
turret.
this, right? I remember very early on in the war, there was like a couple of guys from NSH, I think it was. I think it might be
Yeah.
Wally. I think like from what I remember from what they told me, like they found they had a couple of alts somehow like in Goons or something that had like gunner rights to all of the Athanors in like
Yeah.
Delve, Aquarius, and Period basis. And they went through and stole all of the ammo out of every single structure they could and asset
Yeah.
safety it low sec. And they stole
Yeah.
like I think it was like 200 bill worth of stuff that they just stole, just like bombs. It was
Yeah.
like all structure bombs.
So structure bombs are like actually quite mineral heavy, but they're also so fucking huge
They're
in
very
terms of
difficult to
size.
move.
So they've made some money, but it's going to take them a long time just to get them to Cheetah. I'd be surprised if they'd moved at all. Still, I think the biggest damage to us was making G-Sol like rearm all the fucking citadels.
Like it obviously like wasn't a big deal to you, but it's pretty
Yeah.
fucking funny.
Oh, that's still hilarious. Like, we have a running thing in our director channel of X days since last ACL incident. But this one was just like one random Fortizar from Cloud Temple, and as we were undocking the 3 jump freighters with all the fighters, because we launched all the fighters, abandoned them, and scooped them, and then jumped the jump freighters out like a director, like warped on grid, and I was just sitting there in the gunner seat laughing. I was like, "Thank you, like for the kind donation. We needed some more fighters."
Reset the timer, Carmen.
Like
You get-
fighters, stand-up fighters are surprisingly expensive. Like it was like 1 trillion worth of fighters just from that fort alone.
You guys see the
remember-
jump freighter
Trillion.
that died in T5 because he jumped to the beacon, full of fighters.
With a Baltic fleet
Yeah.
system. F.
I know we lost an idiot. Anyway,
Welcome. Look, nature is healing. Jump freighters are dying in Delve once again.
Now you know how we felt when, like, 3 people a day would jump to AJI.
pray
AJI.
they can be praised. Holy Adjuma.
For a solid 2 months, every time we'd take a Titan bridge, I would just come onto comms and go AJI as we bridged, and people would tell me to fuck off every time. And it's
Yeah.
still, I
cannot-
still do it.
I cannot
One
believe
of-
how Preds, like, every time we're in a war, Preds managed to find a way to, like, build, like, a really fucking solid meme somewhere. Like, in the war we had in Deterred with Fraternity, it was, like, the fucking Astra House they had in their staging system. And then in the war with Goons, it's been, like, the Bait Beacon and AJI. Like, it's just always something.
I mean, it's on Z-Kill now. The beacon, praise be the beacon or some shit like that is reaction on Z-Kill because of that.
Yeah,
Beacon provides.
is one of my the Beacon provides one of my favorite memes of this war.
Man,
It kind of backfired a bit once we started getting stuff at our bait beacon. But yeah, it cuts both
we
ways.
had people jumping into 1DQ when it specifically said 1DQ on the fucking beacon. Like, come on.
Oh, we had a guy within the last hour who's jumped a 3D beacon. So
Know if he's next.
We still don't know. Oh, the Knicks in 3 taxi.
There's some random NC dot next, and he had his all Z-back shit in it, so rip.
NC the Elite Alliance.
And then today we had a Horde ult light a beacon in the Horde move fleet.
They bridged to it.
For a bunch of traders.
Someone pinged me with, like, a screenshot of that as it was happening, and I just looked at it, I was like, oh no.
Surprising no one, there was a Horde ult involved.
I mean, the freighters were empty. That's really the only kind of silver lining there.
No, there was some skill injectors.
One of the best Reddit memes all this war was like,
Give them
So-
to Mike so he can actually turn his Mike Flood into his FC character instead of Tom Flood.
I think he does Mike Flood for caps and Tom Flood for subs.
Yeah, Mike Flood is his Titan pilot, I think.
And much like Cryo, I only do supers and like Feroxes with it, but I have subcap ults for like when I want to do other stuff.
Yeah, I've one of your
ESC, SHK.
Maybe you should give the skill injectors to your FC team, Cash, so that you can inject some flank cruiser skills.
Like, we can
License
talk about
makes
this
sense.
monitor thing again if we want to revisit the last time you guys brought Serbs into 3 Tac D and you used monitors and they all fucking died because you slowed your Serbs down.
Well,
I
our subs
also
aren't the same
don't-
fit as yours anyway. They don't go as fast.
And we just fit overdrives and the same thing happened there. Like, an overdrive union is a pretty solid counter in a lot of cases.
Scram Eagle.
Also, sitting 20 kilometers off our munits as we jump in is a good counter as well.
Yeah, I was listening onto that and I went, this is getting in poorly.
I remember this one flight where I was in ETAC V, and then I think it was John Hartley that he jumped his Serb fleet directly on top of my Medium fleet, and it was pretty easy to say, okay, anchor up on enemy FC, start shooting this.
Yeah.
Oh, those were some good pings. You know, MVP, enemy, the anchor, you know, like.
Danger Dave.
Yeah. Carmen pings out. Thanks for letting us anchor on you.
One of the things that you can say about this war, actually, that I think is a good reflection on part of the game being healthy, at least. There's a pretty wide variety of doctrines that have been used over the course of the war by both sides. Like,
Except
it's not really this. It's not really like the state that we had previously, where there was like 2 or 3 doctrines that were kind of just significantly better than everything else.
They've
There has
Fuck
been quite a
Munins.
lot.
we've
All my
pretty much
homies
got
hate
mirrored
Munins.
I mean, obviously everyone has pretty much the same doctrines because they're just the things that are good. But
Doesn't mean you like them, yeah.
I mean,
Let's-
Init has been doing that quite good. I mean, Init has a good variety. I mean, they've also got Mutants, but they also got Ishtars. Quite
They're
cool.
Ishtars, so like you guys have a hack doctrine. Do you guys have a hack doctrine that you deliberately designed to be cheaper than your other hack doctrines?
no.
Okay, so we do.
Ferox.
So we there's a reason our Eagle Fleet uses tier 1 logic. They do the same with Ishtars. It's designed to just be like cheap, and punch like and just like dick punch more expensive hack doctrines with T2 rigs and all that other stuff.
Yeah, we were
Dangerous.
going through this earlier.
I mean,
Yeah.
when we were coming into this war, we never really felt a need to do that because we weren't really worried about the money. Like, we had loads of money.
Well, hindsight being 50-50.
2020. Where'd the other 30 points come from?
Well, I mean, we're
Um,
still not worried about it, you know. We can still
my brain
comfortably
is
SRP all of our hack fleets. Like, it's not really a problem.
I mean, like, it's the same conversation of scale, right? Like, an Osprey is going to last as long as a Basilisk. What's the point?
I mean, look, everyone knows I love my Retributions and I love Feroxes.
I love a good Retribution versus Harpy fight, because
Oh,
you never
yeah.
know how it's going to end up.
Because we're both shooting into each other's holes.
I remember that
Freezing
Retroflip
Kale.
Itchy bought into.
This is an Australian stream. Fuck it.
One time Itchy decided to bring Retries into 3-tag D. We formed like 80 Harpies to his like 40-man Retroflip.
Yeah, it's not,
And then-
blobbing's fun, but it does feel a bit hollow. Like I have said multiple times against
Yeah,
some of these
everyone
AUTZ
is
ones, because
expected.
there's some like there was that weird dead zone between down like 0600 and downtime where like we just have like subcap supremacy for some reason, and like it felt like bullying at times, even though we like
Felt like
it wasn't
bullying.
enough to turn around like the rest of the war.
I know you
Oh,
love a good bit of bullying, Cryo. Don't lie to me.
I mean, look, man, like, I definitely know the time zone you're talking about. You know, I've taken numerous fights in that dead zone outnumbered just because, fuck it, why not? Sometimes I won, sometimes I lost, sometimes it was even.
Sounds like a lot of our AU times in a season in a nutshell there. Looks like a fight, fuck it, why not?
There's a strong song that's embedded in both New Zealand and Australian culture called "Bring Back the Biff," and I'd like to think that lives on in all of us.
Fuck you, fuck off!
Like the entire song is just "Bring Back the Biff" repeated over and over again.
Bring
And-
back the Biff.
Yeah, it's because you're like 12.
It's a rugby. It's like a rugby league thing.
It's a rugby league thing because they took a lot of fighting out of rugby league. So some sports show released like a parody song where they wanted them
Big
to
boy
bring back
Dan
fighting.
Mario, you can't see vloggers like that today.
Yeah, calm down, Burma.
Oh, come on, mate. Are we ever gonna see the Biff again?
What
Yeah,
is this
sometimes you
stream
just need a
turning
real
into?
fucking like a real dumb brawl. Like that's like occasionally it's like, yeah, let's just have a fight. Like you got like the one Smeb fight that we had a couple of days ago. Like there was no reason to have that fight. It's like, but we had it.
It
Had
was
a
like
big
the
fucking brawl.
39p one the other day, yeah.
Who won that one Smeb one?
We did quite handily, I'm pretty sure.
Wasn't that your fleet, Luke? Versus, I think, Hova or
Sandra?
whatever?
What? No. Oh no, you're thinking of NOL on the Content Astra. Rest
Oh,
in
yeah,
peace, that
it was
Content
that one.
Astra, by the way.
NOL Content Astra provided us with many a good fight. Thank you, brother Bob.
Yeah, I'll always be grateful to Bob for that one.
I'm gonna quickly troll the chat and see if we've missed any questions. Do you guys plan on staying in TES after all this? No, not because of the Alliance, but because of its leadership. I'm sticking in TES. I'm gonna help rebuild. I love it here. It's the first time I felt like I've actually had a home in an Alliance since Convicted disbanded back in 2013.
I mean, technically I am leadership in test now, so it'd be pretty fucking awkward if I left.
Yeah, you guys had a big shakeup of leadership in like last couple of days, didn't you?
Wasn't really a big shake-up at all, it's just a couple of people being added.
It's just a few additions and, like, that's it, really.
Alright, who's cooing Villy out of his role?
No one.
My application got lost in the mail, according to ProGod, so I've got to reform it. I'll get here back within 3 to 4 working weeks.
I don't think anyone meets the ego requirement, to be honest, in Test Command.
I mean, Carmen is there, so yeah.
Question for the Paffy guys: are you annoyed that you're evacing?
Who wants
I mean,
to field
I'm
that
not-
one?
Silence.
Look, me personally, it's the way the cookie crumbles. It's the way that the coin fell. We did our best. We tried to push an absolute massive cap and super fight. The servers weren't able to handle it. Hats off to Goons for your ability to keep your morale up and absolutely bubble fucking defend those 2 gates in the 1 DQ. I'm annoyed, but fuck it, shit happens. I'll rebuild and we'll fight someone else. We'll fight Goons again, down the line. Who knows?
We had 320 on the EV gate and 3 tech D before the last push, by the way.
Fucking cancer.
Oh, you started
I mean,
it.
I think
Remind me
it's
again
quite...
how many it takes to get to being an exploit? It's like 170, right?
No, there's no limit. That's what has been confirmed.
Okay, so no one else wants to answer that question. Then Thomas will come.
Look, no one likes to lose. At the end of the day, no one's gonna go, I really enjoyed losing, guys. Great fight. Like, no one's gonna be out there. Like, that's a question I can answer for you guys. No one's
I
happy
mean-
with backing.
There's been
Obviously,
no
it's annoying, but I mean, obviously, it's annoying, but like, it's a new start, I guess. I think it's going to be quite exciting for the future. I mean, it's something to do in the game instead of just stalling it out over 2 gates.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say as much as you want. No one enjoys losing, but I can honestly tell you, there's not really been any parts of the war that I wasn't really enjoying and having fun. It's
I
been a
mean,
really
it's
good
been a
time.
while coming, right?
It's been an experience. We've had some great fights on both sides of it. I think it's been generally good for people playing the game. People have had a lot of
Come in
content.
the
It's been a
bash
good
show.
time.
I've met some awesome people. I've grown as an FC. I've learnt some things to avoid in the future.
Obviously, like moving a long way is a pain in the ass, but we kind of knew what this was going to be. Coming into this, if we didn't manage to fully evict goons, everyone kind of knew what they were getting into. I think we're just like looking forward to doing something new, something a bit different.
Real delve with the friends we made along the way.
I thought it was insiders all along.
EDU this year is probably going to be online due to the continuous lockdowns in New South Wales and Victoria. So it isn't official. SYN's releasing an official program this weekend. Us organisers will go over it and probably make an announcement. For those who are wondering, EDU is Eve Down Under. It's the Australian Fan Fest, supported by CCP. It was supposed to be in Melbourne. I was kind of looking forward to going down there because I also had the World Jousting Championship in Melbourne, but that got cancelled.
The what?
Fucking COVID. World Jousting Championship.
What?
Dudes
what is
on
that?
horses in wearing armor stabbing each other with pointy sticks at high speed.
Match going jousting.
I think
It's
they call
legal?
it frotting.
What?
What?
I mean, of course, that would be Australia, right?
No, actually, the
Riding
championship
on
last
emus.
year was in, I believe, Poland. All right, so we got another question. One of my questions from a while ago was about the announcement of the plan to camp NPC Delve. What happened there? Did you just decide to not to?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, it was never something we really decided to commit that heavily to. It was kind of just to give people something to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, no
all
one
the
committed
bubbles
to it.
got shot in that time zone that Cryo was talking about, where there's just like no one on because we all jumped on. We're like, huh, there's like 500 bubble kill males on Z-Kill.
I got killed within 3 hours of the announcement and anchoring and the initial hell camp, heck camp, leaving back to T5 with no replacements, and then they just weren't re-anchored.
Was that with the John's Kestrel fleet?
No, that was just all the ones in the NPC Delve. Like, there's just like 3 dudes made it.
It was a kitchen sink, yeah.
Yeah. Like, the biggest hell camp of NPC Delve was, I think it might have been Kale taking a flycatcher fleet that Luke put a harpy fleet on, and it jumped back to 1DQ. That was it. That was the most hell camping I've seen of an NPC station, and that lasted 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys were expecting there. Like, you bring a flycatcher fleet, I'm just gonna bring a normal fleet and force you off, and then you just have to watch them jump out.
Flycatcher fleet is like fun. I mean, in combination with a hack fleet in a normal fight, that's quite terrifying, honestly.
I mean, you don't have PGL yelling if I only leave with 2 dictors.
I had a great time.
That fleet in particular, like, the goal is to be annoying, and I think that it succeeded in that.
Yeah, they made us actually jump out some harpies and then walk home. Like, that was like, they did the job. They actually made us get them home. Like, they weren't unmolested. Yeah.
Like, the init cap move they were moving, it delayed them by like 30 minutes or some shit. Like, it made them get out their caps, get into their fucking materials and stuff, like, come and fuck around the undock. Like, it did its job of being annoying. That was what the goal was.
Alright, now that we're getting into the closing part of the show, I think we'll move on to the last topic, which I think was kind of future content generation, specifically in AUTZ. Cal, what do you reckon?
I'm going to rebuild the AU SIG. I'm going to try to get more people to join it, at least within test, try to make it something that other people can join. I also want to try to get more EDU fleets going up. And as I said, like, content is English. I swear I can speak it. With the war finishing, things resetting, there's going to be people to shoot again, which is going to be great. And with the Theraholes and filaments, there's a lot of content out there, and I'm going to be hunting for it. As I said, I'll definitely be bringing thrashes and feroxes down your way in Delve.
Sounds good. It'll definitely be a bit weird for me because yeah, I started playing again like July last year, a few months into the war. So like, all I've known for this period of like playing Eve was just the war.
July was actually when the war started.
Really? I
July
was
5th.
like kind of extended
July
a
5th.
bit before that in terms of like a kind of preamble or whatever.
Oh, it was like 2 weeks before. There was like, hey, in 2 weeks we're dropping the NIF, and you guys are like, yeah. And then yeah, July 5th was when it kicked off, and you guys sent like 1,200 toasters in the ESO.
Yeah, there was like we had like one fight in Stain before the war like officially started. That was about it though, really.
Yeah, back to scanning down drifter holes, killing
Yep.
rock holes and whatnot.
I think wormholes, drifter holes, filaments are going to be our best friends for the next few months if we want PvP content. I
I don't know,
expect to shit up frat space quite a lot.
I'm not the biggest fan of filament. I think it'd be cool to see where people deploy. It's where the main content will come out of people, like small groups deploying places.
Can't wait to go back to dropping supers on anything that comes near 1DQ.
I remember taking a fleet before the war into 1DQ as a roam. And yeah, we warped to a gate, so I know lights while we're halfway there, bubble fuck, and it was just dreads and supers and carriers. And I'm looking at my 20 dudes, I'm like, we died tonight, guys.
But like, long live the legend of Mr. Frisker. The rest of his name is censored, so this like Twitch channel doesn't get banned. He has like 600 kill marks or something on his avatar, or 700, just from the glory days of bosoning.
Yeah, Redline said I couldn't call the show shit cunt Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
You can't say that.
What a killjoy.
Or see you next Tuesday. I thought that was great.
That would actually be perfect for
Yeah.
a Trash Talk Tuesday pair show.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, Trash Talk Tuesday, the big show for New Eden Post, and like our little AU show on the Saturdays could be See You Next Tuesday,
Yeah,
Thought
that
it
could
was
be our sign
great.
off.
I don't know. I like Series Slender Saturday. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know.
I think that if we want to continue calling that, we need some more serious slander. It's been way too tame, in my opinion.
Headliner is a meanie butt poo poo head.
All right, Kel.
All right.
I don't know.
All right.
Be prepared to apologize to him for that.
Formal written apology addressed to headline.
On official
written
first letterhead, thank you.
Sent via the official Eve forum.
Email him your apology now. I think we should probably get on to our final thoughts. I'll just go through our list. Hammy, your final thoughts?
Alright, I came out of bloody cryostasis for this war, as requested by Hammy. It's been a fun war. I'll probably end up unsubbing and waiting for the next one. This is probably the third or fourth Delve Hell war I've been involved with. Good luck with your move. There's lots of snuffed hiding in the clouds, a low sec. Have fun with that.
You won't be coming on the Delta deployment wherever we go?
Oh yeah, I probably will. We'll see. It's like 40-minute attention span. You get what you get.
Right, Thomas?
I mean, I started war as a no one FC. Didn't really know how to FC enough Chrome. Can't wait for the future. It's gonna be fun, I hope.
It's pretty much where I started as well. I started the war as like a nobody FC, and I'm kind of still a nobody FC. It's been great.
Kale?
Yeah, look, as I said, this war's been great. I've met some amazing people on both sides. I've had some great conversations. We've had some great fights. I've learned a fuck ton. And I wouldn't redo it. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't change anything except maybe winning.
Yeah, just
Other
maybe.
than that, Eve Down Under. Hopefully, as I said, hope to see you guys there for it, even if it does end up being streamed, which it does look like is going to be the case, which absolutely sucks because coronavirus. Eve Down Under is set for, and I'm trying to find it, the 19th to 21st of November. So, catch you then.
Get vaccinated, guys. Might be able to have it in real life next year, hopefully.
Oh yeah, and if you guys want to see this show again next week, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, make sure you join the New Eden Post Discord and the Trash Talk Tuesday Discord. There should be links somewhere in the channel. You can participate, maybe even come into the comms for the next show if you want. Crime, your thoughts?
I'm gonna do some actual slander. Lol, you lost, Lamau. Eat shit.
Hey, eat my ass.
Eat
I
my
think on that
ass.
note, we can say see you next Tuesday.
Yeah,
On the show.
See you next Tuesday.
guys,
Alright.
see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up there. See you guys next Tuesday.
Peace.